Hello everyone, and thank you for coming back to this special Networking Basics mini lecture series where you will be learning IPv4 subnetting by example. Again, as for all other examples, you require a solid foundational knowledge of basic subnetting. If you wish to acquire this knowledge, then by all means, you can listen to my two subnetting videos, or you can continue and hopefully you won't be too confused. So this is example 3. We've already gone through 2 other examples, and I hope you're finding them sorry, I can't find the word. I hope you're finding them useful and instructional. In this example, you are given the following starting network and mask. You're given 57.32.167.0/24, and you are being asked to subnet to provide at least 35 subnets. Once you've subnetted, you are asked for some additional questions. Specifically, for subnet number 49, you are asked to calculate the subnet ID and mask, the usable IP address range, and the broadcast address for subnet 49. Let's proceed with the resolution of the question. Number 1, we will subnet to provide 35 subnets. For convenience, I've drawn the 3 basic subnetting formulas, and in this case we are given the criteria that we must subnet to provide 35 subnets. Therefore, we apply the proper formula, which is 2 to the b must be greater or equal to 35. Let us find the value of b, the smallest value of b that meets this requirement. If b equals 5, 2 to the b is 32, and that doesn't meet the requirement. If b equals 6, then 2 to the b is 64. Bingo! That is the smallest value of b that meets the requirement. So 2 to the 6 is 64, and it is greater or equal to 35. Having computed the value of b, we can now compute the value of h. Now, our original address starts with 8 host bits. We have taken 6 of those host bits and transformed them into network bits. Now, so 8 minus 2, so we are left with 2 host bits. So h equals 2. And our new mask has been elongated by, our original mask was 24 plus 6. So it's been elongated by 6. Therefore, our new mask is a /30. Now, with 2 host bits, how many usable hosts do we have per network? So it's 2 to the h, where 2 to the 2 is 4 minus 2 is 2. So we have exactly 2 usable IPs per new network or per subnet. Which, incidentally, on the internet, we have a lot of point-to-point connections. That is, a point-to-point connection, a router-to-router connection over a WAN link requires simply 2 IP addresses. So this subnetting formula, or this subnetting recipe, is perfect for these many networks that require simply 2 addresses, like point-to-point links or WAN links. Alright, let's just write here h equals 2, and we have a /30. So carry that over to our next slide. Now in this question, for the subnet that or for the address that we have just subnetted, we are being asked to calculate for subnet number 49. We asked for the subnet ID and the mask, the usable address range, and the broadcast address. Just a little note here that the subnet ID is also the network ID, also known as the network address. Now let me give you a quick and dirty formula. So here the formula is we multiply the subnet number by the subnet size. The result of that multiplication is the last octet value of the subnet ID for that subnet number. So we have the subnet number. The subnet size is simply 2 to the h, and 2 to the h is 2 to the 2 is 4. Therefore we multiply 49 times the subnet size of 4, gives us exactly 196, and that's the value of our last octet. And our first three octets are 57, 32, 167.196 is the subnet ID or the network ID of subnet number 40. And the mask, of course, is a /30, which we've already calculated. Let me erase some things to make room so that we can calculate the usable address range as well as the broadcast address. Now, having our having the network ID, we can calculate the first usable address, which is the network ID plus 1, which is 57, 32, 167.197. Okay, the next address would be the last address. Now, in order to get the last one, the last one is usually it is always the broadcast minus 1. Now, in order to get the broadcast address, we can do it the long way. That is, we can convert this to binary and then replace all zeros, all host bits with ones, and then convert back to decimal, and that would give us our broadcast address. Now let's do a simpler version of this. So our broadcast address is also the subnet ID. So our broadcast address for subnet number 49 is the subnet ID or the network ID for subnet number 50 minus 1. So the subnet ID for 50 is 50 times 5 is, pardon me, not 50 times 5. 50 times 4 is 200. Therefore, 200 minus 1 is exactly 199. And our last usable is always our broadcast minus 1. Now let's move on to the next question. Okay, so the last questions for this is, to which class does this address belong to? The original class is a class A. So we're subnetting a subnet. And is this a public or private? This is a public address. So this concludes our examples. I hope these were useful.